big butt baby. Well, she's a big butt baby. Well, she's a big butt baby dancing all around. She's a big butt baby, she'll dance around.
Welcome to the mountains of beautiful western North Carolina. Today I'm going to make beef jerky for you. For my readers, it's on page 111 of my book, Fat to Skinny, Fast and Easy. This makes a beautiful treat, something you can eat at any time, take with you on a trip. It'll give you great protein, very low in sugar, very fulfilling. It'll help you lose weight while you eat great, the Fat to Skinny, Fast and Easy way. We're going to start off with 4 pounds of beautiful, lean London broiled steak. We're going to be utilizing some liquid smoke, some soy sauce, some Worcestershire sauce, some sugar-free teriyaki, some Cajun land Cajun seasoning, some cracked black pepper, and of course, my American Harvester dehydrator. So we'll start by cutting the steak in the appropriate strips for beef jerky. The reason I use London broil is because, as you can see, it's a very lean cut of meat. There's very little fat on it, very little marbling, and therefore it's going to create for us a nice lean piece of beef jerky that's not going to be greasy. Now, as you can see by the grain on the meat, you can tell which way it's going by looking at the lines. Now, we're going to cut against the grain because we want to make sure that the beef jerky is not too tough. So taking a good sharp knife, just come on down and cut yourself 1/8 inch strips. Just like this. And continue until your steak is completely cut up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut right through the center of this because I want you to see the end of the meat. Can you see that? You see where you see all the ends of all the grain? Now, let me tell you why that's important. I'm going to take a slice off for you. Here we go. And I'm going to pull it apart, and you'll see that it pulls apart very, very easily. Now, when you cut London broil after you grill it on the grill, always cut it against the grain, and you won't have a tough steak. Now, contrary to that, watch what happens when I cut it this way, with the grain. It's much tougher and much harder to pull apart because it's going along with the grain. So for beef jerky, I prefer to have the steak easily breakable when I'm chewing on it. Now, of course, if you want your beef jerky much tougher, simply cut it with the grain, and it'll be a much harder pull when you go to break it off in your mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up all this steak. Very simple to do, as you can see, with a good sharp knife. Watch your fingers. Nobody likes finger jerky. And when we get it all cut up, we're going to make our marinade. We're going to let the meat soak in the marinade overnight, and then we're going to put it into our American Harvester food dehydrator, and following the manufacturer's instructions, we're going to dry the meat for about 8 hours until it's like leather. You don't want it crispy. In other words, you don't want it to be able to break apart, but you do want it to be dry, so it'll be like leather. So I'll just continue cutting this meat up, and we'll just cut straight over to making the marinade. We're now ready to make our marinade. We start off with a 1/2 cup of soy sauce, which you already have in the measuring cup. We're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar-free teriyaki. Next, we're going to add 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. There we go. Pour it right in there. Next, we're going to put in 1/8 cup of liquid smoke. This is liquid smoke. Gives it a nice smoky flavor, obviously. Now, I had failed to mention earlier, to make this a little sweeter, I used 2 tablespoons of Splenda. So we'll put our Splenda in there. I like for heat Cajun land Cajun seasoning, which I get from Louisiana. Then we're going to take a couple tablespoons of Cajun land Cajun seasoning, and we're going to dump it right in there. And this completes our marinade. Now we're simply going to take our marinade, we'll give it a stir, and in a big bowl, we'll transfer our meat, and then dump in the marinade. And what you want to do with this is mix it well. Don't forget to get your hands in there. Part of cooking is using your hands. It's all good. You can always wash them afterwards. And then what you're going to want to do is take this beautifully marinated meat and leave it in your refrigerator for 24 hours. And then lay it inside of your food dehydrator and let it dehydrate for 8 hours. Well, good morning, gang. It's morning time here in the beautiful mountains of western North Carolina. And as you can see, I've laid the beef jerky out on the American Harvester dehydrator trays. I've spread it out, and it's important when you're putting your meat on your trays that you don't put it too close. You want to make sure there's plenty of air around the meat so that when it goes through its dehydration process, all the pieces have an equal opportunity to dry. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pepper it. Now you can pepper it with a black ground pepper. If you want it a little spicier, you can use a red pepper. Or you can make it real simple for yourself and just use a nice coarse ground pepper out of a shaker. So we're going to do a little bit of each. And then we're going to stack our trays in. We're going to turn our dehydrator on. In about 8 hours, we're going to have delicious beef jerky. Harvester dehydrator has done its job, and our beef jerky is beautiful. As you can see, it's pliable, but it's dry. It's nice and lean, and you can see the pepper on each piece. It's going to be extremely flavorful. And now what I'll do is I'll take these and I'll bag them up and I'll put them in the refrigerator. Some people would store them in their cupboards, but I like to put mine in the refrigerator. At any rate, let's pile them up into a bowl and see what we have. What a beautiful batch of beef jerky we've made. Look at this. Fabulous. You know the thing about protein? It fills you right up. If you're hungry in the afternoon, have a couple pieces of beef jerky. Your hunger will all go away. And you know what? It won't make you fat. You can find this recipe in my book, Fat to Skinny, Fast and Easy. You can pick it up at fattoskinny.com. I lost over 100 pounds. You can too. Thanks for visiting. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you again on the next Fat to Skinny Cooking Show.
She's a big butt baby. Well, she's a big butt baby. She's a big butt baby dancing all around. She's a big butt baby, she'll dance around. A big butt baby, she'll move the ground. Big butt baby, be careful too. She can bump you, make you black and blue. She's a big butt baby.